Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
All right. Are you still sparring Tim, Julio, for the fight?
Yes, I am.
How's he doing? How's he looking?
He's working hard at it. He's getting in shape really fast. He's catching on really good.
And how many rounds is he doing a day?
Right now we're doing up to seven a day right now.
Mm-hmm. And what are you most impressed about? What are you trying to work on with him?
He's working on being technical and smart in there, not just reckless, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He's working a lot of angles.
And what kind of Pacquiao are you prepared for? Are you preparing for the aggressive, super aggressive Pacquiao? Like how he was maybe a few fights ago? Because the last few fights he kind of was slacking a little bit.
Yeah, I think they're getting prepared for the toughest Pacquiao they can.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I get.
Yeah. So Tim's impressing you, I take it.
Yes, right now at the moment, yeah, Tim's hungry. He's showing he really wants it. Yeah. That's a good thing.
Is he helping you get in shape too? Because you're coming back.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, I've been staying in shape, so it was no problem just helping him out there. Yeah. I get some work in too.
How many different sparring partners he got?
He got right now about 3 or 4, I think. Yeah, but I'm mainly the one that gives him the more work. They use me more.
Yeah. And is there any talk about what happened with Lamont Peterson with the steroid issue?
No, not today. They didn't bring it up.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I just heard about it a while ago. Well, I really don't know much about it. I don't want to, you know. Mm-hmm. If it is true, that's too bad, you know, to risk, jeopardize your position in your career for something like that. But like I said, I don't know. I don't know anything about it yet.
Yeah. How rampant do you think steroid use is in boxing?
I think it's used a lot, more than people think. It's just noticed and caught not too often because it tends to be checked only in signature fights, in big fights.
Yeah.
You know, but I think that's where it's been caught. But you know, any other fighters coming up or not in a big profile fight, you know, you're able to do it because they're not so picky and they don't check you as much.
Yeah. And what do you think boxing could do about it? Do you think they could?
I think they can check a lot more thoroughly or completely. Check us whether you're a Pacquiao fighting for $20 million or you're anybody else fighting for $1,000. I think every fighter should get checked the same. But it just seems that high-profile fights are the only ones that get all the attention and they get the most checked because there's a lot at stake. But I think every fight has the same thing at stake, which is important, the safety of the other opponent.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of times they'll say, well, where's the money going to come from? And what do you say to that?
Well, that's what commissions are for. That's what promoters are for. You know, when you're promoting an event, you know, you got to be ready for expenses. Yeah. I think stuff like that should be included somewhere around the tab.
Yeah.
Somewhere, somehow, it should be covered.
Yeah, maybe from the top of the sport, maybe take like a percentage out of the fighter's purse or the promoter's purse or the manager's or maybe the whole thing. Do something. Yeah. Something got to be done, you know?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Some way, somehow, it's got to be covered somewhere, you know?
Yeah. Too much at stake, you know?
Yeah, too much at stake, you know, but it just seems that right now the only stake they worry about is, you know, high-profile fights of what they're going to say or who wins or loses, but in reality, the fact of the matter is that every fight is very important because the opponent his lives in jeopardy, you know?
Yeah.
When you got fighters like, you know, allegedly Margarito using cast hand and stuff like that, those are things that, you know, you never know. After the beating of Cotto, he could have had a brain injury that night. He could have, you know, things could have went worse. Then what would happen?
Yeah, and who knows how many people he did it to before. I was just talking to someone else, Chop Corley actually, and we were talking about the safety of fighters, and we talked about Margarito. And ever since Shane Mosley's people found he was trying to, you know, wrap his hands that night, he never hurt another person again.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And in fact, firsthand, like, we have that experience because that's the first thing that came up to our mind, because Antonio Diaz, my brother, he fought Margarito. He was beating him throughout the whole fight, no problem. Antonio was a bulldog in there. He could take a punch. Nobody ever hurt him.
Yeah.
And Margarito just started catching up to him. Antonio said that later round he just started feeling that punch. You know, he just kept on dazing him, and to the end of the fight, same thing with Cotto. Like in the 10th, 11th round, you know, he had to take a knee. He said he just felt he was getting hit with rocks. And like I said, since that wasn't a Cotto fight, it was Antonio Diaz. Nobody checked.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, he got caught in a big fight.
Yeah.
You know, but who knows how many other times? If they were willing to do it on a big fight where all the attention and all eyes on you, I mean, what makes you think they wouldn't do it on regular smaller fights where, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when Margarito would get to the top of the top elite fighters and lose to him all the time, and then suddenly he started like killing everyone and mauling them. You know, clearly that's about the time he started.
I mean, I always had a lot of respect for Margarito and I was a fan of him and stuff, but until that, just the fact that I remember an interview where they asked him clearly, okay, they showed him a picture about the gauze being cracked up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, well, what is that? Well, I don't know. He just cowered out of it, and you don't admit the truth. I mean, whether he did it or not, he wasn't aware of it. Come on, you're a smart person. You gotta take it like a man. You know, so you will say, you know what? You're right. It is a cast. I wasn't aware of it, but it is a cast. Look at the picture.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, it's common sense. You know, I mean, we can't be that stupid. When something cracks, it's because it was hard.
Yep.
Right? Something that's not solid, rock hard, don't crack. It just bends or folds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When something cracks, because it was solid, hard, and you have a big old chip of crack on it, and I just hated that day seeing a champion like Margarito. I was a fan of him. Just cowardly deny it, like, and how can you lie with a straight face
and act like it's not even something worth talking about and stuff, you know?
Yeah. I mean, come on. I was looking at the interview. I saw it twice that day, and I was like, man, look at his face. How can you, in public, put a straight face and just deny it?
Yeah, and if you're willing to do that, like, what kind of human being are you, you know? What would you not do?
Yeah. I mean, you know what? You got caught, man. Just take it up and just say, you know what? My mistake, and you know what? I'm sorry, or whatever. You gotta, I don't know. That's just my mentality. I don't respect anybody who lies with a straight face like that. I personally don't. You know, nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes, but when you make a mistake and you get caught, just like I was saying sorry, or you know what, my bad, you know?
Yeah.